All right, today we are going to be looking at the fifth grade art class. This is really our first module, our introductory module that we're going to go through today. But I know we've got some new students who haven't been with us before, and so just real quickly, I'm going to go over the homepage briefly. And I won't spend the whole time on it. Let me time myself here. I'll make sure I don't go over. Um, you should always be coming to the homepage to come to my class. First of all, you'll find here the information to get a hold of me. One of the most important things about this class is being comfortable with how you negotiate and navigate through the class. And that starts with being able to get help. And so, anytime you need help, you're going to contact me. I will also be putting my Google Voice number there, but I'm going to be honest, I'm not good at answering it yet. I will figure it out though, but I'll post it on there. We'll have class twice a week, and you'll see those times are posted here. Fifth grade meets on Tuesdays and on Thursdays from 12 o'clock until 12:30. To get into my class, you'll come here and click on this Zoom link at 12 o'clock when it's time for your class. The first day, that Tuesday of each week, we'll go over the module. And that's what we're going to do today. We're going to go through the modules together. I go through the modules with you because there's a lot of assignments, and you'll hear me say this again and again, but there's a lot of assignments that we won't be doing in those modules. They have you do a lot of things over and over and over again. And we'll be doing one assignment essentially each week. We'll be doing that on Thursday. The Tuesday's kind of the day we walk through and take a look at the module, and we do that all, like I said, all together. All right. On that Thursday when we make art, remember we're going to be using. I'm going to demonstrate on an application, either Sketchbook or excuse me, Sketchpad or Canvas, something that generally you'll have access to it or something like that on your Chromebook, which you can make digital art. So you never have to buy any materials for this class. Having said that, if you would like to be using traditional materials that you already have, watercolors, markers, color pencils, pastels, whatever it might be, you're more than welcome to use the materials that you have. But in the middle of a pandemic, I don't want students feeling like they need to run out and purchase a bunch of expensive materials. Rules for attending the Zoom: please make sure that your first and last name are your identifiers in the Zoom. That's the only way that you're going to be present for the attendance. I do a screenshot of the participants, and if your name is a nickname or some numbers, you will be counted absent. So always, only your first and last name, no little smiley faces, frowny faces, no nicknames, just first and last name. Thank you. When you come into the Zoom, the sound will be off, the mute will be on. You can't unmute yourself because we've got so many students in these classes that it would step on each other if we allowed them to be the mute to come off. But you can type directly to me in the chat, which is fantastic. You can say hello as you come into the room. Once the lesson is started, I'm going to ask that you keep the chat not only directed to me, not to everyone, but also keep it relevant to what we're talking about in the lesson so that I can make sure I'm answering those questions in real time. The last thing before we actually start looking at the modules here, all of my modules, the videos that I post for those modules and the art assignments and the links will all be posted here on the homepage. And so once you learn to navigate and negotiate the homepage, you shouldn't have to go to any other pages to figure out and to submit stuff. Each week, I will open the module up that we're working on, so you can click here and it'll take you into that module. Here will be the video link to the video, for the lesson. The way my classes run, as you're seeing right now, is I run a video. I'm also over here doing all kinds of stuff, taking attendance and answering questions in real time. And so I get to be two people in the meeting by having that video link. The other thing by providing that video does is a couple things. If you miss class for whatever reason, you can click that link and watch the class and not really miss anything. If you log into the Zoom and you recognize your Zoom, you can't hear what I'm saying. It's sounds like a robot and it's cutting it out and the video doesn't work maybe. you can watch the video, and then you can come right back into class with real time with questions. Um, the last thing I think it's makes it the best is it allows me again to be my own aide. So in real time, I can answer those questions for you. And if everybody has the same question, I can stop the whole thing and make sure we've got clarity. And then on Thursday, this link will be ready to go, and you can click to submit your first work of art when we get done on Thursday. This is my schedule, so you can kind of see when I have what. The STLP and all this really colorful stuff doesn't really start until the end of September, but we'll talk about that later. This is a link to my website if you want more information about different lessons or different things that you want to do just for fun. Maybe you can learn to marbleize, do 2 point perspective, digital painting lessons, gesture drawings, coding. If you want to draw Naruto, you can learn to do that. All right, let's take a look at the introductory module, and I know I'm already crunched for time. Let's see, I've got about 12 minutes. Let's auction this off. So today we're really looking at how you navigate through the modules, how you start the module, click page through page, and just mostly I want to reiterate the reason I go through the module with you is so that you don't feel like you have to go through it. But if you do want to go through it to get resources, to relearn something, if you miss something in the class, I want you to be able to get into it. But as we go through it, I want to remind you there's a lot of assignments that you'll see in the module that I won't grade, that I won't ask you to turn in. They're not really assignments that you have to do. So make sure you're paying attention to class, because in class I'm going to tell you when the assignment is due, and that's only on Thursdays where we do the assignment. So today we're going to talk about the navigating through the different parts of the modules, the lesson parts, course specifics, tips for success. We're not going to talk about course pace because you don't really get to determine that. And then we're going to talk about something called an academic integrity, and that is like doing the right thing with relation to when we do research and giving credit where credit's due and that sort of thing. So the first thing I want to point out is, if you'll see here in the top right hand corner, if this says 1 of 4, that means that there's going to be 4 pages in that section of the module. The section we're in right now is this navigation section. I can go forward and backwards through it using these little buttons here, and I can come back to that home page right where I am by clicking that little home button. And so one of the things that it's pointing out here are these little buttons. That's these little buttons across the top. The menu button tells you how to navigate through and lets you see the different modules that are in this section. So if we click this one, for instance, we'll see this one is called Getting Started. Oh, let's go back up there. Went too far. All right. So, oh, excuse me. Let me get back to the page we were supposed to be. This is one of the reasons we walk through the modules. They are really a pain to sort of kind of navigate through. So we'll try this again. So the menu up here will take you through, let you know what module you're in. Let's click on this navigation part here. Oh. If you look at the glossary button will take you to the vocabulary that you may or may not be familiar with that's new to you in this lesson. The resources that are available. For instance, we're going to be talking today about the cultural sketchbooks. These are different printables that, if you want, you can print out. I generally won't ask you to print out much of anything. You'll see the print button there. One of the advantages of being online is where we're in class online, having those resources online is sometimes better than actually having a paper one that you can kind of lose. This one's always going to be here. You don't have to keep up with it. Those toolboxes, let me go through it down here. The toolbox is going to have different types of things in uh, the Arts Humanities classes. You might find vocabulary help and that sort of thing. I think they do have calculators and stopwatches and so forth, but generally they don't get used too much. The bookmark doesn't even really work. I don't even know why they have that. But it's the speech tool that you want to get most familiar with. A lot of these modules are built using vocabulary that's really above an elementary level. Some of it's middle and high school vocabulary. And so I find that this speech tool becomes one of the most useful aspects of this whole Canvas thing. Anytime that you highlight an area, you can click the speech tool and it will read it aloud for you. And you can use it to kind of help navigate and negotiate some of those vocabulary words, again, that you might not be that familiar with. The text-to-speech reader, that's what we just talked about. Navigating way around. The bookmark feature doesn't work. We just talked about that. I don't know why they even have that. And then, let's see, example of, underlined words. Yes, anytime you see the underlined words, anytime you see words that are highlighted in the red over on the side, anytime you see a link that can be clicked, you should click on that link because it's going to take you to valuable information that you're probably going to need to know for those assessments. And we're going to talk more about those later. The next thing we're going to talk about here, and I'm checking my time and seeing how much I've got. You all got such a short class time. Ooh, goodness. Okay, I got about 5 minutes, 6 minutes here. I need to hurry up, don't I? Okay. Lessons and assessments. So there's different parts of each lesson. And the way these lessons are built is they kind of build on each other. And so they might have little sketchbook activities. Now, these sketchbook activities might be activities that we'll do in class, and then I hope you'll save in your sketchbook, but maybe you won't turn in for a grade. Again, on Thursday, I'll tell you the specific assignment that you'll turn in for a grade, but just recognize as you go through those lessons, there's probably some extra little assignments that you can do that maybe won't necessarily get graded. The ones you'll know are the ones that you'll find in your assignments. And the reason I do that is if I ask you to turn in every assignment that they have in there, I ask you to do them all, you would have 4, 5, 6 assignments a week. That's too much for an elementary. So we're not going to do that at that pace. Have a sketchbook. What you use as a sketchbook is up to you. I use sometimes the back of bills. If I've got a bill that's got a blank space in the back, we'll use that. I've got lots of little sketchbooks around here. My favorite thing to use as a sketchbook is this Chrome Canvas application that we're going to talk about a bunch this semester. It's free. It's online. Everywhere you go, you can use it. You can use it with your Chromebooks. They're fantastic. You can see I have hundreds of sketches in here. The other thing I want to talk about, and it mentions this later in the module, is not all of these are drawings. A lot of my sketches are ideas. They're just notes I jot down, words, things that I'm thinking of, that I might use in a sketch later. For instance, I use it for class stuff. You'll see the beginning of the art stuff. Classes all have a little window I use, and then you can see I do the same demos over and over again to try to show different aspects of different programs. So, Chrome Canvas, I recommend you use that, but you're free to use whatever you have laying around the house as a sketchbook, but you want to have something that you can draw on. Get those ideas out. Don't let them store up. All right. Lessons number 3. Let's get through this. Submitting your work. We're going to talk more about this on Thursday, but the way you are going to submit in my class is, and we're going to go to the home screen again real quick. Well, we'll do that until we finish this last page. And we'll talk about rubrics too. We will not be doing the pre-test. If you see the word pre-test, I generally try to have those blocked out, mostly because they just cause confusion. Why should you take a test to start off doing something? It just scares the living daylights out of you. Just forget it. So if you see the word pre-test, no, first of all, even if it's on there and I forgot to take it out, it doesn't count towards anything. Worksheets. Sometimes I might recommend a worksheet. Usually I'll post it on the homepage if it's one you really need to be using. And often I'll ask you just to use it in conjunction with like Chrome Canvas. So you don't even have to print it out. You will not be asked to submit anything by audio. Boy, that drives me crazy. I'm sure it does you as well. All right. Before we go today, let's take a look at how you're going to submit artwork. And so we'll look here at the getting to know you. No, we won't. I don't think I've got an assignment open yet, but I'm going to show you anyway. I'm going to go in here to line. If this was open and it's not yet, where this says publish, you would see submit. You would find instructions for how to submit here. And when you click submit, it would bring you to a space where you can upload a file. The only two files that you can upload in art are PNG and JPEG, those JPEGs. JPEGs and the PNG. And so let me show you about, I'll go into, let's go to fourth grade, so I'll show you theirs. Because they have already got theirs already set up to do theirs. So you'll see here's a link to the art assignment. Up here where it says publish or unpublish, it'll say submit. Let's see. Oh, I can do it as a student view, I believe. Hopefully. Let's try this student view. Yep. So when you go to start assignment, you'll see down here it says you can upload a file. You'll click here, and there's two kinds of files that you can upload. When you go to choose a file, you'll probably choose your file from the My Drive. If you're working on your Chromebook, that's most likely in your Google Drive, My Drive, or your Google Drive, your files there. Or if you're on a Windows or Mac, you probably got I save everything on the desktop. Don't do that. Label things, file them properly, but remember where you put whatever it is you're going to put, and then you can load it up. Any of the documents, any of the images that you save from Chrome Canvas will save as a PNG, and I'll show you. If, for instance, I want to save this guy to submit him, and I want to submit that for homework, I can go save image as here, and you'll see it's going to save it as a PNG right there, wherever you save it. And so that's how you submit artwork. We're going to talk more about it here in just a minute. I'm about ready to end the lesson, but don't go anywhere because I'm going to take roll, and then we'll talk a little bit more about Thursday and what you're going to submit. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it, and I'll talk to you in just a second.